I'm here with Alex Stephany, the CEO of JustPark, and we're going to talk about his new book, The Business of Sharing, and all about his company, crowdfunding, you name it. But I was wondering if you could tell people a little bit about JustPark. Everybody in London is talking to me about it, but tell me more.
So JustPark is an app and a website that lets people book parking wherever they need it. And it's a lot of peer-to-peer parking. We're the biggest peer-to-peer parking service in the world. So that's about 17,000 individuals and families renting out their driveways and garages. And we also work with big car parks and hotel groups. So it's really, it started off as a sort of sharing economy, peer-to-peer type business, and now it's really expanded to become this much larger marketplace.
Okay, and now you're an author, you're finally published. I was at your book launch party the other night. What does it feel like to have that book finished? Yeah, how does it feel?
It's a massive relief. It's very exciting. It's out there, and it's something tangible that you can hold in your hands. And that sort of going from this sort of Word document to an actual physical artifact is incredibly cool, and it's really gratifying when people are getting in touch and telling me how much they're enjoying the book. And it's little things like people who will get in touch and say, "Hi, I'm a neuroscientist. I've never read a business book in my life. I'm not interested in business books, but I was recommended this book, and I really, really enjoyed it, and thanks so much." So I mean, it's kind of like the anti-business book, really, because the sharing economy is, in many ways, it's not a sort of traditional economy. It's a people-powered and people-centric economy. So it's the book is really encapsulating all these human stories of people making money and saving money and really creating commerce with other people.
No, it's a great book. It starts out with him getting a ride from a Lyft driver in San Francisco, and then it goes on to kind of your adventures, really, and everything you're doing, pitching at Sequoia, going to number 10 Downing Street, and it's interesting, and it's a serious book. Like, there's a lot of research done in there, and he's an English major formerly at Oxford. So it's noticed, it shows. This isn't like just someone that cranked out a book to have a business card. Like, there's a lot of insights in this thing.
Well, thanks very much. I mean, I agreed to write this, and obviously being this sort of, hacker startup person, you agree to do something and you think, how can I do this really quickly, and what shortcuts can I take, because that's just how you're trained to think constantly when you're working in startups. But then when you're writing a book, you have this sort of huge pride that has nothing to do with efficiency and getting stuff out and being lean and agile and all these things that people obsess about in startup world. So I started writing it, and I could have got it out quickly, but it became really like a massive labor of love. Huge amounts of research. It's sort of an 80,000 word book, which is about normal. But in order to get to that 80,000 words, I probably wrote 500,000 words. And
500,000
was just crafting it because I knew that this is going to hold my name forever, and I want to be really proud of it.
Yeah, that's fascinating thing about a book, and I mean, I would say even about an episode like this, is that the people that do deep dive and watch the whole episode or read the whole book, they're almost like the people that are going to be your clients, or they're going to be like your biggest proponents for like the rest of your life, right?
I hope so.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's just a fascinating concept of like the book and what it can do, and even if maybe only 1,000 people read it, those people might be like total fans for life, and they might contact you out of the blue saying, this really changed my life. So I don't know, I'm finding it fascinating, the whole concept of book writing.
Sure, and I mean, people that are reading the book, I think, are being inspired to change their behavior. That might be making use of some of their assets on some of these sharing economy platforms. It might be driving a taxi on a platform like Uber or Lyft. And I mean, this is a collaborative economy that is allowing people to get involved and become micro-entrepreneurs. And so it is kind of a call to action to all these people to embrace this new and really exciting economy, because I think that it has really positive implications for society and the environment and even politics. So it's a kind of practical, hands-on book as well. And if I can only inspire one person to take on some form of entrepreneurship and realize themselves in a really exciting way, then the whole project's worth it in my eyes.
Yeah, and I want to dive in a bit deeper, because we all think we know the sharing economy, but I don't think we know a lot of the nuanced points that you've been making. I think we've all used something like an Uber or an Airbnb, but there's a lot more going on under the surface. Not to mention the crowdfunding campaign they just did, where they got 2,900 people, largest one in Europe, 3.7 million pounds, EU max. We're going to talk about that too after a VC round at Index, which is a major VC. I mean, I don't even know how to get started there.
Yeah,
we will have to go for the episode with that. But say 1 minute really quickly about that.
Okay, so we did an equity crowdfunding round on a platform called Crowdcube, and it's become the biggest equity crowdfunding in history. So as Brian said, we hit this EU maximum, that's 3.7 million pounds, which is the equivalent of 5 million euros. We had to basically turn off the taps and say, right, we just cannot take any more cash. That was overfunding by 370%. And from 2,900 investors, which was again a massive record. double what the previous record was. And yet it was also this really interesting, innovative structure of crowd plus institutional venture capital firm. And it's really the first time on a significant scale that these two types of investors are coming together and are saying, hang on a sec, we can both bring different things to the party here. We're very different types of people, but we can, if you're a crowd, you can bring evangelism and passion for the brand. And if you're an institutional investor, you can bring expertise and network effects and that kind of thing. So in that sense, I think this could end up being a real trailblazing round. And I've already had a bunch of CEOs of quite significant and established companies getting in touch and saying, hey, we've got offers from VCs, or we've got VCs on board. Should we be looking at crowdfunding in addition?
Right. Now, it's a fascinating concept because usually people think of the classic, Kickstarter alternative. It's because you can't get the funding, or you don't know if there's a market yet, or you want to test things out. But to do it after you have the funding, it's a whole different concept of how you market, or how you turn your customers into shareholders, or how you get them to become evangelists. There's so many nuanced pieces. So that's why we have too much to talk about right now. So just stay tuned. Click on the link below and subscribe. You'll get the notice right away when this episode goes live. But now we're going to plug in to the full episode that is streaming live. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Okay, cool. We'll see you on the other side. Peace.